What did you find out about your friend's ex-life that actually shocked you? In high school, a classmate of mine was bragging one day about losing his virginity to a lady in our community who happened to be the mother to a girl a grade above us. We all called bullet and asked why he'd make something like that up, cause not only is it not believable, it just wasn't even a funny lie. Fast forward 6 months and fellow classmate has to leave class on multiple occasions to go to court. Older lady was bragging to her co-worker about sleeping with said classmate, and now older lady is her ex-offender. I fricked your mum might be funny, but I fricked your kid is just downright illegal in it. Can you imagine if I fricked your kid jokes were as common as I fricked your mum jokes? That'd be wild. They'd probably be more effective. Yikes, this happened in my hometown. A mum had sex with her daughter's 15-year-old boyfriend. Friend wouldn't let me use his computer circa 20 years ago. He said he had things on there that would change how I thought about him. I stowed the thought aside. 12 years or so later, married with a young daughter, they threw his ass in prison for having some insanely large amount of child peen on his computer. He was part of some huge child peen ring. Evidently really young girls. Usually when people say that, it's just furry hot pocket peen and whatnot. What the frick is a hot pocket in the context of peen? Exactly what was typed? A regular hot pocket. Guess he wasn't kidding. Unfortunately. I used to frequent Craigslist back before they banned anything even resembling a dating or hookup ad. I once placed an ad and got a response from a guy on my team at work asking if I wanted to frick his wife. As in bluntly asking, hey buddy, you wanna frick my wife? Your email address is stripped off when using their built-in email system, but the name on your email account comes through. The response was in this guy's name, which is unique, and he included a picture of his wife who I have met. The pic didn't show her face, but she has some visible tattoos, so there is zero doubt it was her. So how was she? I never responded to the email or ever mentioned it to anyone, though I did think it would have been funny. You actually get a surprising number of cuckold responses to ads, which isn't my thing, and the guy usually wants to watch. A couple that I was friends with was into necrophilia play. He would make his wife take an ice cold shower, quickly dry off, and then she'd just lay there while he fricked her cold unmoving body, and they really liked it. With these kind of stories, I always wonder how into it the partner really is, or if they just decided they love the other person enough to go eat it and are now pretending to enjoy the same thing. I mean, it can't have come up during dating, can it? I want to frick a dead body. Check please. Is the second person keen or horrified? That she had elaborate pirate roleplay ex. We were housemates in college and I heard way more than I bargained for. Also, the guy she had elaborate pirate roleplay ex with smelled bad and wore those shoes with the separate toes. I fixed that for you. A friend of mine thinks of me while having ex so they can keep going for much longer. How does that make you feel? Weird, flattered, indifferent? Mostly weird. I mean, we're both straight men. Go figure. He does that so he can delay orgasm? Or he does that to maintain erection? It's hilarious either way, The former. If it were the latter, it'd still be weird, but somewhat flattering, not gonna lie. My wife had a female friend in high school that saved all the used condoms in a brown paper bag under her bed. And from what I heard, there were a lot of them. Can't that it mold or go rotten? Anyone who's read the Cumbox story is well aware that yes it can. Oh, thanks for reminding me of that. Yeah, it can. It denatures and turns into this gross, kind of orange runny liquid, protein slurry that has a pronounced, sharp noticeable aroma. My best friend never fapped until I told him the experiences of the luxury. Then he actually did it and he questioned his life. I mean, that's pretty mind-blowing if you've never done it. A former friend of mine used to wipe her husband's butt after he'd been to the bathroom. Initially she'd do his washing and he'd leave stains on his underwear. For her? I'm not sure. And that progressed to some humiliation and her checking him when he got home from work every day. She told me this when we were outside having a cigarette and I then had to sit across from them both for the longest game of Monopoly. My best friend in college got in a pretty kinky sexual relationship with this dude for a while. They do BDSM type stuff, none of which is particularly shocking to me, but I remember visiting her apartment and seeing a spoon out randomly in her room and asked why it was there. She said she loved the taste of his cum so much he'd jerk off onto the spoon and feed it to her while she was tied up. I didn't think she'd ever really shock me, but that one took the cake. Wait until they find out you can cum directly into a person's mouth. Doing it onto a spoon seems inconvenient. Cum spoons and poop knives. What a time to be alive. Knife in the bathroom, spoon in the bedroom. Can't wait to find out why some redditor has a fork in the rec room. What's this spoon doing here? Oh that. Yeah, you know, I just loved the taste of his cum so much he'd jerk off onto the spoon and feed it to me while I'm tied up. Oh. My room is littered with abandoned spoons. But those are from the peanut butter jar. He posts himself and his girlfriend to Pornhub and Reddit not safe for work. Are they popular? Like, if someone said the channel, would people be like, oh damn? Wouldn't you like to know whether boy? Where are your parents? Kid sketchy. My roommate broke his bed one day after coming home with his girlfriend. Pretty ordinary so far. That happens, although already quite funny. Then I remembered that I helped him build his bed up when we moved in. Dude's bed has 2 slatted frames. How the hell did they break that? Tell him to stop using chainsaws during X. Obviously. Ye old Chainsaw Massacre roleplay my parents warned me about. Exas Chainsaw Massacre. Well, I found out he likes hosting gangbangs. He invited me to one. 2. Update. I went. I mustn't talk about it. From what I hear, gangbangs are a bunch of dudes beside each other jerking off, except you get to slide in for 2 seconds. My friend had anal sex with her boyfriend for 5 years before having PPLX. She was too scared she would get pregnant. I have nothing against anal sex, but it totally shocked the hell out of me. 5 years? Jesus. I can barely last 5 minutes. When I was in high school, a girl I worked with, who went to Catholic school, very religious family, said this was pretty common among girls in her school as a way of keeping their virginity for marriage. Might be BS. As a general rule, anything that anyone in high school says about X is usually a lie or exaggeration. It's totally not BS. I've known multiple girls who went to Catholic school who did the same thing. One of my good friends had exclusively anal sex with his girlfriend, now wife, 4 years, and then after marriage she never let him in the back door again. Found out half of my friend group were regularly having foursomes together and rudely not inviting the rest of us. Did they end up extending that invite? Listen, I'm not packing no Louisville Slugger down there or anything, but I can make a mean to turtle casserole I could bring to the festivities. Of all the things you could bring. Okay, but how exactly did you find out? His wife was invited without him. Best friend in HS was casually seeing this dude who was a senior our sophomore year. Well, he graduated and dumped her. Next year his brother started HS. She proceeded to date him. Took both of their virginities. Achievement unlocked. In my opinion, brothers. Blood bond bonus. In Bulgaria, when a guy sleeps with 2 sisters it's called the small helmet. The big helmet is with mother and daughter. So congratulations to your friend for achieving the small helmet. And I think that the virginities make it the ultimate small helmet. Really, good job. Why do you have a name for that? Bulgaria. That when house sitting for us, he and his wife fricked in every room of our house and also on my motorcycle. Someone's gotta do it. Ouch. Years ago, my insecure virgin friend bragged to us about finally losing his virginity to the hottest chick. We didn't believe him, because he always made up stories about this which were broken open every single time. He was obsessed with being a virgin at the age of 24 and his number one goal was to lose it. Needless to say, he wasn't in a healthy state of mind and we tried our best to boost his confidence and convince him that it didn't matter, but to little effect. He said that, this time, he'd prove it to us so we know he wasn't lying. Well, one night we're at the pub and he brings her over. Really gorgeous girl. We gently begin to pry into the details of their ex-life. She is very open about it and says she had been with my friend for 2 months and that he's spent the night with her dozens of times. Afterwards, some of us thought it was a conspiracy where he paid the girl to lie. We never saw them kiss or anything that night. Eventually, we came to accept it and felt happy for our friend because looks like he finally achieved what he so desperately wanted. We never saw the girl again, though this isn't abnormal because we usually don't bring our GFs around to hang out. A few months later I saw the same girl on the train. I asked how her boyfriend was doing and she said he's doing good and left for the Air Force. My virgin friend was still in town, obviously. So I asked, well, what about, virgin friend? Did you lie to us that night? She said that no, he has been over to their house many times for X. Except the X took place exclusively between her and her Air Force boyfriend while my virgin friend watched. She had a kink for actually humiliating guys and I guess my virgin friend thought it was better than nothing. Then it dawned on me that the wording she used that night was deliberately evasive, though technically not lying. I never told anyone and I never confronted him. A few months later they broke up and my virgin friend, years later, still brings up stories about how he used to hit that. But I just play along and keep his secret. That was a wild ride. Not for the virgin friend. You were the bigger man and it was the right thing to do. Good for you for letting him keep whatever dignity he had. The frick did I just read, man? What the hell, lol.